Hey, should I look at the camera or should I look at you?
Either way.
Okay, I'm gonna look at you because I feel more comfortable looking at you. Hi, my name's Isabella Brown.
Okay. Do you prefer coffee? Right. So, do you prefer coffee or tea?
I prefer coffee.
Dogs or cats?
Uh, Cats over dogs any day.
How long have you lived at the Hyesta?
I have lived at the Hyesta just over a year. I moved here uh, around October of last year. Right? 2 years ago? Girl, I don't know. What year is it? 2017. October 2017.
Okay. What's your passion?
Oh, I have a passion for dance, for performing arts, for people living their best lives.
Okay. How does slash has the Hyesta brought life into your creative work?
The oh gosh, okay. The Hyesta is like a creative hub. I mean, our building manager used to be a dance major, so that's kind of epic. Our neighbors are dancers and artists. Pretty much everyone who lives in here has like their own flavor. So I knew moving here that we could be loud and messy and creative and no one would fine us for doing that, which is something that happened a lot in our last apartment. We couldn't be loud and crazy and dance in the middle of the night, but the Hyesta is the perfect place to do that.
What's the most fun you've ever had living here?
Oh, the most fun? That's like picking your favorite child if I had children. Um, oh my god, the most fun I've ever had. I don't know. Honestly, just hanging out in the apartment with my neighbors, with my sister, with my roommates. I mean, we have crazy parties here, and those are always fun, but I think the most fun is when we just have, I don't know, breakfast one morning. We invite everybody over and we make a big breakfast or we make a big dinner and we just hang out. We always seem to get up to no good, and it's always a fun time.
Okay. What's the best drama that you've ever had at 680?
The best drama? Oh, oh shoot. The best drama. Okay. So we have this neighborhood woman. We'll call her Miss P for identity reasons. And she often frequents our apartments and asks for food, but she does so at the most inconvenient and terrifying times. So at 2 in the morning, you'll have someone banging at your door asking for $7 or a bag of chips. Anyway, it was all brought on by our neighbor, um, who kept inviting her and like giving her money, and then she just wouldn't stop coming. And then one day, like he had to break up with her basically, and it was the most dramatic thing to happen in our apartment. Is like witnessing Thomas having to like break up with Miss P because it was like it was very upsetting and we didn't know how she would react. But she's not been by since, so no more bothering us in the middle of the night, which is good.
That's great. What could you never forget about 680 no matter how far you travel?
Never forget about 680. Okay, so last summer, it was the 4th of July, and two of my roommates and I, we went swimming for the day. And we hung out and we ate and we swam. And then we were like, oh, we're going to come back to the apartment at night. And we weren't going to go to any fireworks show or anything because we didn't want to drive and it was a mess. Traffic was a mess. So we got back and sometimes we can get access to the roof, which is a little bit hush hush. But we went up to the roof and to our surprise, you could see every fireworks show from like every suburb of Detroit from the roof, and it was insane. And you could look at the whole like parameter of the roof and just see every fireworks show on the horizon. It had to be dozens, like if not 100 fireworks shows going on at once, and like we just sat in silence for 2 hours watching the fireworks, and it was so amazing, and I'll never forget that. What?
How would you describe the phase in your life that you've lived since moving here and being here?
The phase. I don't know. I feel like when you go to college, like you grow a lot. People always talk about like your experimental years, like when you're in college. In my first couple years of college, I definitely was like trying to figure out who I was and like how I like to dress and who I hang out with and what kind of music I listen to. And that all took place like at the dorm or at another apartment building. But by the time I moved to the Hyesta, I was pretty secure in who I was / who I wanted to be. So I wouldn't say it was like the experimental phase of college, but more so like a phase in which I could explore what I had already decided what I wanted to be and like who I wanted to be. And living in the Hyesta, you just get exposed to so many different types of people. And so I was grounded in the fact that I knew I'd changed so much in the first couple of years of college. But these last few years living here, I've been open to options and like opportunities with other people and just kind of exploring in my decision of who I wanted to be and who I wanted to hang out with and what drink I wanted to order at the bar and whatnot. So.
How long do you plan on spending here?
Well, we've lived here for like a year and a half, and our lease ends at the end of July. So that'll be after I graduate, and then we'll all split ways and do our own thing. So till the end of July.
How many people have you seen come and go?
Since living at the Hyesta, how many people have I seen come and go? Well, the apartment, like above us diagonally, I knew the people who used to live there before my sister. Should I refer to you in the third person?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Before Sophia, before you. And then the apartment above that, I don't really know the people that live there, but they've moved out. So I guess 2 cycles of 2 different apartments I've seen come and go. And then some roommate swaps here and there. But we haven't lived there that long, so.
What's your favorite thing about the Hyesta?
The history. So being a dance major in the Hyesta is kind of a historic thing. It's kind of been passed along our department for generations. But my professors now used to live in the Hyesta when they went to Wayne State, which is kind of cool because like we were always like, oh, the Hyesta. And then the building manager used to live in the Hyesta. One of my like dance mentors, who used to be my boss and now I have his job, he used to live in the Hyesta. I just had a master class with Chris Brown's backup dancer. She went to Wayne State. She used to live in the Hyesta. So like it's this weird adopted lineage of like Hyesta alum that I think is really cool. Yeah, I won't forget that.
Beautiful. Great. Thank you.
That's it.